Welcome to the OG Gambling Syndicate. I'm not saying we're official or anything now, Josh, but look at us. DraftKings, use that promo code OG24.
I see it right there.
Right there. All these pointings.
For me, it's up, but yes, I see it. That's pretty thick.
Yeah, man. We got a new intro. Thanks to Joe Ovius, the maestro here at OG Media. And yes, we have a partnership with DraftKings. Download that app and use that promo code OG24, and you can do that before March 11th. Then once it becomes live on the 11th, you can earn up to $300 in bonus bets. So if you're like me and you're like Josh and you like betting on golf, kind of nice to have a few extra bucks in the account in order to throw some first round leader bets down, in order to throw some top 20 bets down, and in order to pick some winner bets. So we were giving Bennett Johnson the week off, so he'll be prepped and ready for the players next week. Mm-hmm. So that's first. So we have the Arnold Palmer Invitational down in Pay Hill.
Yeah. We're doing the players. I thought we were going to do the opposite field event
for next week. I mean, you and I will.
Yeah, those are all my hitters. I can't like stay away from those guys. Where are they even? They're for people watching. They actually do two tournaments sometimes. Yes. And next week is oh crap! It's actually this week. I'm sorry. This week is the Puerto Rico Open.
We got 10-20s this week. We're letting the people down.
I didn't even have Puerto Rico plays, but I kind of want to go find some at this point. So.
All right, so we have the Arnold Palmer Invitational down in Bay Hill, the second leg of the Florida Swing. Last week, unfortunately, came up a little bit short with Andrew Novak in the opening round, our opening round picks. We were all over the leaderboard for the winner, but did not have Austin Eckroat. We did hit a Shane Lowry top 20 last week, though. So our streak of at least hitting a top 20 continues here on the OG Gambling Syndicate. If you are new to gambling, again, golf, in my opinion, is the best thing to gamble on because you have the best odds, and there are no better odds than the first round leader bets. And Josh Goodson, you are our expert in first round leader bets. And look at this. I've added a little spreadsheet for us since I know this is how the world works and you guys enjoy when I get those things going. So let's review that. When we do these, you do $25 on each player, and those odds are a payout of a return if you were to do obviously if you were to do something like $100. So you just have to take a quarter of that. And I got the numbers up there for you, Josh. Let us take our time because we have the Bay Hill Invitational, Arnold Palmer Invitational down at Bay Hill. In my opinion, Josh, this is a bomber's course. Mm-hmm. And I know last year it was Kurt Kitayama, but the 22 winner, Scotty Scheffler, the 21 winner, which is the one fresh with most people, Bryson DeChambeau, that was really one of his coming out parties. It's just a huge day off of the tee. Terrell Hatton in 21 here. And then, of course, the outlier with Kitty Hawk would be Francesco Molinari, who won here in 19. But Rory has won here. Rory plays well here. He'll be here. Scheffler plays well here. Matt Fitzpatrick plays well here. Some of the bigger names that do play well here. So what do you see here on your first round leader bets for the Arnold Palmer Invitational?
Yeah, I didn't go with as many as I usually do. The field's a lot smaller because it's a signature event. So it's basically only former winners, and I think you can play your way into it by like how you've recently finished, like terms of top fives and top 10. So that's one thing. There's not as many guys. And then number two, there's not as many crazy odds. You don't see any 150 to 1 type scenarios this week, mainly because all these guys are really, really good and such for the most part. And most of them, if not all of them, are coming in some sense of form as well. So you're not going to see any crazy outlier numbers in terms of the first round leaders, but same principles as it usually do. I'm looking at how you're playing coming in. I'm looking at course knowledge. I'm looking at, do you go make a lot of birdies, little things like that. And so I start with Keegan Bradley. Keegan has played pretty well this year for the most part. He played last year. He opened up here. I think he was sitting 1 or 2 strokes out of the lead after the first round. So I kind of like the value that we got with Keegan. pulling it up right now. Yeah, he shot 68 last year. For perspective, last year's first round lead was a 65 7 under by John Rahm. So 65 is what got the lead. Keegan was at 68. I like how Keegan played. I like how his odds are going 40-1. Cam Davis, he seems like a streaky, hits the hell out of the ball. Wouldn't you call him Palmer type guy? He's also been playing pretty decently coming into this. He didn't play last week. Last time he played actually was in Riviera. Played okay, but had a top 20 at Pebble Beach. And so liked his odds 60-1. I'm going to take that all day long. Ricky had a good week last week for the most part. He flirted around. I think he's won here before. And even if he hasn't won here, he's always kind of at the top. He shot at 68 here to lead, to be in third place, I guess, after the round one last year. So he has some course knowledge here. Sahith, who's a guy who's somebody that gets hotter on the course than him as far as like just running off birdies. Maybe Eric Van Rooyen actually is that answer now with what he just did last week at the Cognizant Classic. Sahith is a streaky guy, can hit the crap out of the ball. 45-1. I like that. Nick Taylor, I thought this was like an outlier based on how he's played. What he did on the West Coast swing. He had the win out in he had the win in Phoenix, right? He beat Charlie Hoffman in the playoffs.
Yes.
A course where you had to go make a bunch of birdies and do that. 70-1 just seemed a little too good. It almost looks to be too good to be true. I don't know why a Nick Taylor is 70-1 where a Sahith is 45-1 or a Keegan's 40-1. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'll take the 70-1. Chris Kirk has played well here before, played well here last year. Jake Knapp might be the hottest player on the tour right now. He wins 2 weeks ago down in Mexico.
Just as we all thought.
Do what?
Just as we all thought, Jake Knapp would be the hottest player on the PGA Tour.
Usually, though, these guys when they win their first tournament and they get that first $1 million check, rare do they come out the next week and then follow it up, right? It's just because you've been partying all week, or maybe not even partying, but you take a breath from winning and such. But he played really, really well last week. I like guys that are in. He is the epitome of who is in form right now. Jake Knapp is in really good form for playing golf. 3 more. Kurt Kitayama won here last year, 50-1. Course knowledge. Adam Scott has played well here before, 40-1. And then Sungjae. And before we came on, you told me how Sungjae is playing terrible golf, but he was leading this tournament after round one, I believe, in 2022. So has played well here before. I feel like Sungjae's a guy that is going to get it turned around. I'm going to trust him, even though you told me that he's been playing really bad coming into this. So,
all right, let's just look at Sungjae's results because
when you said it, I was like, "What is?"
I'm not being a jerk. I'm trying to like educate some people in terms of like how random golf gambling is, right? So even though he has not played well this year and as of late, missing the cut last week at Cognizant, 66, 66, 44, missed cut, not in great form. You go back to where he was in Hawaii and then at the Amex, that opening round 65, opening round 66, that puts you in play.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, he has struggled. And this is not what I would consider his type of course. I would consider this he's a ball striker. Sungjae is a ball striker. This feels like a bomber's course to me. Chris Kirk might be one that you had on there that's worth paying attention to in terms of Kurt Kitayama last year wins this tournament as a guy who just basically got hot, right? At the beginning of the season was just hot and stayed hot. And then it got to the majors and it was like, yeah, you're still Kurt Kitayama and it's not going to happen for you. And I think Chris Kirk is probably going to be that guy this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I look at it. That's the way that I look at it. And again, when you place these bets, so it's a $25 bet, so that's a $250 outlay for you. If they're an individual leader, you would get a quarter of the odds. So Keegan Bradley would return $1,000 for you on your $25 bet. If it's split up, though, and the lead is tied, then it becomes divided by the number of players who tie for the lead. So there is that. All right.
So if you hit Keegan Bradley, basically you are paying for the next 4 tournaments, and this is the
Right.
premise of this. So that's what people need to know. I haven't hit. I think I haven't hit on the last 3, but there was a plus 80 to 1 guy hit like a month ago. So I'm still basically playing on house money essentially from that play from a couple weeks ago. So
And that's just on your first round leader.
correct,
That's not all of your bets again. So,
correct.
yeah, the premise still remains the same here. So, did you text me a one and done pick for this program?
Did not, but I have one for you.
All right, well, let's do it live. You tell. We'll start there. You start with your one and done pick for this. And if you're new to golf, one and done is you pick one golfer each week. That is all you get for the year. You use them once and you're done. Wherever that player finishes, you get their money for that event. And then by the end of the year, you add up who has accrued the most money. All right. So your one and done pick this week, Josh, for the Arnold Palmer Invitational is
Xander Schauffele.
interesting.
I tried to sit here. Like, yes, the goal is you would want to pick the winner because then you maximize. But we have to remember in these signature events, especially if you're doing a season-long one and done type pool, you're trying to accumulate money. Getting the winner is a good thing. In these events, getting a top 10 is almost as good as having a winner at last week's tournament.
Right.
Right. And so when I was looking at, I don't think you want to try to mess around and take like a flyer on someone. Like these signature events generally have the best players usually rise to the top, usually play well. Xander has played well here before. I think he actually has won this tournament before. I like him. I feel like Xander's a guy that is always in the top 10. Like that, there's not much, not much more run at. And like if I'm trying to just get like a guarantee, making sure I have putting some cash in the bank, that's what I'm gonna do. He's T4 at Genesis. He was T9 at Farmers, T3 at American Express, T10 at Century. I mean, that's what I'm looking to do. Have a guy that's going to make some cash for me.
What other form would you like? No, I just meant I would have expected you to save him for later in the season. And I try to map out who I will take in the majors and kind of work backwards. And then I will look at, of course.
The money's almost the same for these. That's kind of my point. Right. I'm kind of lumping these signature events in with the majors because just of the pure money aspect of it. Take away like prestige, right? No one's going to say a top 10 at Bay Hill is better than a top 10 at the Masters, right? But the money difference between the two is not that much with how they've restructured the prize structures.
It's interesting you bring that up because I was reading Jason Sobel on the Action Network. His one and done pick this week is actually Scotty Scheffler for that exact reason, where he was like, listen, people are going to save him. And this is a course where he plays well. This is a course where he's won. This is an elevated tournament. The purse is such that you might think, oh, I'm saving Scotty for the Masters, which, I could understand. But a lot of this stuff is strategy. And you got to hit a few too. So under that premise, I'm actually going with a guy who I would never use in a major, even though he's a major champion, Matt Fitzpatrick. Mm-hmm. So my one and done play is Matt Fitzpatrick. He plays well here. He just has never won here. He's played in this tournament 9 times. He's finished in the top 10 4 times. Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Very good.
He hasn't been playing well as of late. But like you, I believe in a guy when he gets somewhere and he feels good about it, he's going to have that love and feeling with the Isley brothers there. So I just feel like he has a chance at this one. I like Matt Fitzpatrick as my one and done play. All right, let's go to our top 20 picks.
For perspective, real quick. 10th place this week, if you're by yourself, is going to win you $550,000. Last year at the Masters, and the Masters hasn't released what their purses are this year, so this could go up, but I don't even know if they change it every year. Last year, 5th place at the Masters was $720,000. Excuse me, did I read that right? No, $486,000. So this tournament, in theory, is paying more than the Masters does. So just something to keep in mind if you're doing these one and done things, because you need to make cash.
All right, before we go to DraftKings.com and we look at the odds for the winners at the Arnold Palmer Invitational RTP Mortgage, that's Josh Goodson. Look at that smiling face. Reach out to him, rtpmortgage.com, or you can give him a call, 252-361-1415. That's 252-361-1415. Whether you're in the market for a cash out refi, whether you're in the market as a first-time home buyer, best thing to do is have a conversation and understand what you can afford. And also, as Josh likes to say, while the market and the rate is not exactly where you would want it to be, the price of houses keeps going up. And so if you can always change your mortgage price and refi and do better, but you can't change what you're going to pay for that house. So it's always good to have a conversation to understand what you can afford before you get into that market.
Yeah. We wish we could buy at the bottom and borrow at the bottom and then sell at the top, right? Like,
right.
As human, like that would be the best thing, but that's not really how it works. Even with high rates, I was reading something this morning that basically the national appreciation trend from last year, like homes appreciated 5% year over year. And that was with mortgage rates being at a 20-year high. So what does that tell me? The prices are not, we have the data to back up that prices are still going up. Rates do fluctuate sometimes. You can always renegotiate the rate down the line. You can't renegotiate the house. And so waiting is just going to cost you money at the end of the day. So if you're in the market to do it now, get a mortgage. Let me help you out.
Josh Goodson, RTP Mortgage. All right, let's go to the DraftKings odds and we'll make some winner picks for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And again, you could sign up on DraftKings, download the app, and earn up to $300 in bonus bets if you use that promo code OG24 for new accounts. For someone like me who's been driving up to Virginia and gambling on DraftKings, I'm not eligible for this, Josh, but there will be some other good bonuses and goodies involved for repeat customers. I know that for sure. To me, Josh, DraftKings is actually the best interface. And you know, I've sent you on many an adventure in your travels, and DraftKings is the one that is usually for everyone, not just me, the easiest interface to use. So let's look at the odds for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Again, we have Scotty Scheffler at 6.5 to 1. Come on now. I know he won here 2 years ago, but you should really never take a pre-flop bet for someone to win a golf tournament at anything less than 10 to 1. We have two of those here, and Rory McIlroy, who also plays well here, has won here before. 9 to 1. There's your guy Xander, 16 to 1, third on the board. The Hove, Victor Hovland, the young Hove, has not really been playing this year. Patrick Cantlay, who I do not trust outside of the state of California, 16. Ludwig Abear at 18 to 1, and Sam Burns, 22, with Jordan Spieth there and Colin Markosh. So let's go with your first pick, Josh, to win the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
I need to scroll down probably there. Justin Thomas, 28 to 1.
JT.
I like the value, and he is a guy that he's too good to be, I don't want to say irrelevant, but like last year was his worst year on the tour, and he finally started trending this year. I know he missed the cut at Genesis. Who knows? I think he was sick along with everyone else. He had some of the Tiger stuff.
Sick. Yes.
Some of the Tiger stuff going on. But prior to that, he had a T12, a T6, a T3, and had a third place at the Hero. And also, he was a guy that played in some of that wraparound season, the fall series as well, where he had a fourth place and a fifth place. So up until Genesis, where he got sick, his worst start out of 6 starts was 12th place. He's still really good. He is a bomber. He hits the crap out of the ball. And taking all that, and he's a guy that's not won here before, but he's, he knows how to win whenever it's time to win. He's won plenty of times. I just like him at 28 to 1, so he's my pick to win this week.
All right. I like JT too. It does feel like, I think I said the same thing last week, but it does feel like we are due for a name to win one of these, since it's really been first timers and new guys and Corn Ferry guys. And it just feels like, now wait a second. I know there are people out there who enjoy the live golf experience who are like, see, the PGA stinks this year because they don't really have any of the good golfers anymore. And I can buy some of that argument for sure, but obviously there's still some really good players on the PGA Tour. Duh. I'm gonna go back up the odds a little bit there. I'm gonna go to actually Bennett's pick from last week. I think this is more of a course that fits Cameron Young than the Cognizant Classic than PGA National. I think Cameron Young. I know he would fit for a new first time winner, but obviously a guy he's been in form ever since Pebble Beach. Phoenix tied for 8th, Genesis tied for 16th, and then last week tied for 4th with an opening round 65, closing round 66. Can't ask for much more than that. It just feels like it's his time, and I like Cameron Young. He's a bomber on a bomber's course. Sometimes you just can't overthink this. So do you have a second winner pick, or you just have one this week?
I just had one. If I had a second one, I'd probably go back to Tommy Fleetwood because that's my guy, and I don't want to miss it when he wins.
When
he's like Cameron Young. Just doesn't win. I think he's 25-1.
Yes. So the one thing we're going to get into when we keep talking about bombers, one of your top 20 picks will be one that immediately jumped to mind. The other one, my other winner pick is Wyndham Clark. Has already won this year at Pebble Beach. Obviously, it was a truncated tournament with one day cut short because of the weather. You talk about bombers, Wyndham Clark. Now, my only concern, I mentioned Patrick Cantlay. I don't trust him outside of the state of California. Wyndham Clark has 2 tour wins. They're both in the state of California. This is a bombers course, though. I think that's great value at 50-1. I think even you would take that pre-flop value on Wyndham Clark.
If you're playing just the value game, I don't see how. Like, look at the people above and below him.
Yeah.
And why is Ben on have shorter odds? You know,
Ben An has been playing well. I will say that.
Right, but like he doesn't have the pedigree of winning, and like I don't think Wyndham is necessarily getting the
respect.
I didn't realize this. Did you know he's the number 7 player in the world right now by the World Golf Rankings?
That's crazy. Yes, I did not know he was that. I knew he was in the top 10, but
and what is he on these odds boards? Like down to the 30th guy for the most part.
Yep.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know. Like you said, he's already won this year. He did miss the cut at the Genesis, but from a pure value perspective, I don't think there's better value on the board than him at 50-1 to win the
tournament. Yeah. So I might as well give away my first top 20 is Wyndham Clark. As you can see, he has plus 170 to finish in the top 20. What's your first top 20 pick, Josh?
I need to remember what I sent you. First top 20 pick. One of my first round leader guys. Feel like he hasn't won yet, I don't believe, on the tour. Sahith. He's a bomber. I think he's really good. He's the number 22 player in the world. He's plus 153. A little bit of value
plus
there.
190 on the DraftKings. Yes, plus 190
on DraftKings. Sorry, I should go by the official sportsbook of this. But
DOJ.
He's got a second place. He's got a T20. He's got a 5th at Waste Management. He plays well. He is in the tournaments for the most part whenever all the best golfers are there. That's something else to consider as well. He doesn't get scared by the just the fact that all the good guys are there. He's one of the good guys now. So I like him at the plus 190 value for a top 20.
All right, I have Wyndham Clark, and I'm also going to go down the board. I'm going to break my own rules here. I'm going to take a bunter, the little B, Brian Harman. Wow. You can't watch him play. He's the most annoying player in the history of the world to watch play golf, but he is effective. And plus 330 for top 20?
Yeah.
Brian Harman is a guy, when the course is harder and the field is tougher, he plays better. Obviously had the big breakthrough at the British Open last year, but even before that, top 10 at Masters. He's a guy, doesn't hit the ball that far, and he waggles the hell out of that thing. Annoying as hell to watch. I can't resist the value there, Josh, plus 330.
Yeah, it's not bad. He's been okay this year. He hasn't been great yet, but
there's a little fat and happy after last year. I get that,
but he doesn't. You can't hate the plus 330.
Right.
So from a pure value perspective, I don't hate that play at all. My other pick was Sung Jae, plus 180. The guy that evidently is
this week
the worst golfer on the planet, according to Joe Giglio, coming into this week. The dude, he's really good, and I like him. I'm not picking the guy to win. I just need him
Right.
to be around in top 20 plus 180. I liked the value for Sung Jae this week, and he's played well at this course before.
It's funny, you and I are in like a variety of different golf pools and different formats, and we like to go back to guys who have been successful for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I have won our G4 pool in British Open 2 of the last 3 years, and when I did, I had Brian Harman. So it's kind of like, well, what happened when you won? Well, I had this guy, right? Every
Mm-hmm.
time I take Sanjay, he misses the cut, and he rarely misses a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a thing that he normally does. That's the only reason I'm kind of sort of giving you a hard time about Sung Jae and taking him. So, all right, let's look at all of our picks for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Josh, you got Sung Jae and Sahith Tagala for the top 20s. Justin Thomas as your winner, and the X-Man as your one and done pick. I've got Wyndham Clark, Brian Harman, top 20s, Cam Young, and Wyndham Clark as winners, and then Matt Fitzpatrick as a one and done option. All right. This is the point where I tell you, you actually are on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You know, you can buy cars from Heister. You knew that already, but you can sell your car to the Heister Automotive Group. All you got to do, reach out to our friend Bennett Johnson at Heister Automotive Group. That's heisterauto.com. We look forward to his nerdy players picks next week. The real world calls for Bennett this week, but we will get back to him next week. Josh, now that we have this deal with DraftKings,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make some basketball plays today, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to start since I think I might have caught you off guard. I don't know if you know this, but this is the last time that Armando Bacot is going to play basketball at the Smith Center.
Mm.
I think it's fine. I think it's finally here. I think. If I were to tell you that Armando Bay, and it's already gone up by a point since I put this out on the OG this morning, but if I were to tell you that one of, you know, the statistical leaders in the history of Carolina basketball was playing in his final home game, what do you think Vegas would set the prop line for his total, his scoring total at?
So you're asking me what do I think they should do based on all that information?
Yes.
Right? Like his last game. So I would think it's 20 points.
Yeah, right? All right, so this is an important part of where how gambling lines are set. It's an algorithm, it's a number, it's not a feeling, right? So in real life, and we might also be misremembering what Armando Bacot is this year and what he isn't.
Right.
So in real life, Armando Bacot averages 14 points per game. That's what he averages per game.
Right.
So the book for this game has his total set at 13.5. Will he score his? Basically, they're saying, do you think player X will hit their average? And, 50% of the time they're going to be right. 50% of the time they're going to be wrong. I have a hard time believing that in his final game at Chapel Hill, Josh, that Armando Bacot doesn't score 20 points tonight. So actually, when I gave this out earlier today, it was 12.5. People are already on this. It's up to 13.5. And I would still hammer the fuck out of 13.5 points over.
Yeah. I don't see how
you're
that
like,
doesn't.
don't make me get excited about Carolina basketball. It's more of the premise, right? Like you're trying to find angles. Now watch the guy turn his ankle. I think I had him in a tournament game a couple of years ago where I had his rebounds, and he was averaging 100 rebounds a game. He turned his ankle and he ended up with one, and he screwed me. So that's in play. I understand that, but I just look at this and I'm going, there's no way he doesn't score 20 points tonight in this last game.
No, I wouldn't even know to look at stuff like that, and I'm glad that you bring it up. Like I think there are going to be times when people start picking up on lines and such, whether it's props or spreads, just by Las Vegas doesn't have they're working purely on data, and sometimes
Right.
we know that NC State doesn't win in the Smith Center, right? Like sort of like we have certain feels or certain things, or like, oh, we know when certain teams play each other. It's just like we know what the matchups look like and know what the history of the history of the teams playing each other looks like. And so yeah, I'm in full agreement with that.
All right, you have a basketball play for me for today, Tuesday, March 5th.
Yeah, I was pulling it up. Give me 1 second.
I'll give you my other one.
Yep.
I think Illinois is a team good enough to win the national championship. They're probably going to choke in the tournament. That's what Big Ten teams do.
Mm-hmm.
This is their last home game. They're playing Purdue, the number 2 team in the country. I think they pour this thing the F out,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in the first half. Illinois -1 in the first half, I feel like is a hammer play for today.
I'm surprised you haven't gone to Winston-Salem.
What is my team? What are my Deeks doing today? I didn't even look. Now, I will say the only thing I don't like about DraftKings is I can't sort by conference. I have to go through how the games are numbered by the book. And usually it's by start time. So if you told me what time the Deeks were playing, I could
We're at
probably
9:00.
Okay, I was gonna say I could probably get there a little bit faster. Is this where you're going?
9:00. Wake Forest has to win, and I don't think they necessarily have to win by more than 1 point. But at home this year, they've been really, really good. They're back home tonight, and to kind of keep up their metrics and all the things involved in that, they're going to need another pour it out effort, and I think that they're going to get it done. You're not showing it, but I actually like their first half. They were -8 in the first half, and I
Okay.
think they're going to come out and win or be leading at halftime by double digits. Georgia Tech has not been the same team on the road.
No, they've been feisty at home, but
Yeah.
not on the road.
And Wake has everything in the world to play for, and so it's like if you can't come out and show up in the first half in a game that you have to win to be able to keep your tournament hopes alive, then you aren't what we thought you were anyways,
Yeah.
I guess, at the end of the day.
What are we doing here if that is the case for sure?
Correct.
All right, did anything else? I had 2 plays. Did anything else? I actually now looking at this, I like Syracuse +10.
Yes, I was going there next. Syracuse,
That seems a little.
they're the one team in the ACC, I think, of all these bubble teams that should be like screaming from the mountaintops, like, why aren't we in the same conversation as you are? We have the win over North Carolina. We've won 5 of 6. We've done it on the road. We've done it at home, and they're in a fight for their life type battle. I don't think any ACC team should be giving laying double digits to anyone, home or the road, for the most part in many of these games. And Syracuse +10 was exactly where I was going to go for my next play. Syracuse fighting to get on the bubble, I guess. I don't know where they actually sit compared to other schools, but would be a big win for them. Quad 1 win. Again, if it's March, if you're not showing up right now with opportunities, then what are you even doing? And so kind of put up or shut up time. And so I like Syracuse +10.
I see another one that I like too, and that's South Florida. Tulane is on an epic losing streak right now. South Florida has won. They have the longest winning streak in the country. Yes, 14. Amir Abdur Rahim is a name some NC State fans may or may not want to familiarize themselves with. They're playing Tulane, the number 7.5. South Florida is a defensive machine, even though the metrics don't reflect that. And Tulane is in the absolute tank right now. They have not won since beating Temple in overtime on February 4th. And their last 2 games have been competitive. I normally find when a team is in a losing streak and has those close losses, the next one is usually hammer job time. So give me South Florida laying those points.
I love it.
Home. Yep. Yeah. So I can't wait, Josh. I'm ready for March 11th to get here. And again, go to DraftKings.com or download the DraftKings app. Use that promo code OG24. Get yourself up to $300 in bonus bets. We'll be back next week with our friend Bennett Johnson with some more golf picks. Best of luck to you, sir, in your first round leader bets. There's a couple on there that I like. Maybe I shouldn't root for you, right? Like I feel like it does better when I'm pulling against you.
Yes.
Okay. I'll try to get in that mindset for you, especially since I don't really have a dog in this fight. So I'm not rooting for you. I hope you lose, Josh.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
All right. See you guys next week. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening on the Apple or Spotify's, make sure you give us 5 stars, positive vibes only. See you guys next week. Get ready for the players. Wait a second. I just got a text from the OG legal department. Don't forget to read the disclaimer when talking about DraftKings. So, best radio voice. Here we go. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with the code OG24 to get up to $300 in bonus bets once mobile sports betting goes live. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, coming soon to North Carolina on March 11th with the code OG24. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 8777-185543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Maximum $300 in bonus bets, not available for use until March 11th, 2024. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit, wagering, and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. And now we'll see you next week right here on the OG Gambling Syndicate.